Diesel We the People News. Okay, part 3. Let's go.
Doing what Kurt has done to them, and when they start violating our rights, which is what they've done, yes. The only benefit they may have is that all of us are pretty busy with our own cases. But other than that, give us a reason.
Yeah.
Well, and this Absolutely. Is a crime. It's a crime against not just Kurt Benschoof. It's a crime against the city. The good city of Seattle. All the citizens in King County.
And let's say they pick the jury from, let's say, the general political pool. Let's say this is now a political tool, which I do believe it is. They pick the citizens from kind of a random pool of, let's say, they're Democrat, right? In general. I would hope that these people sitting on a jury are like eyes wide open now going, holy moly, I can't believe this,
Yeah.
So I hope it's educational for them and that, maybe that's where I believe. So I do this. I volunteer for WCRC and now volunteer to help Kurt because
I'm going to stop right there for a second too. For anybody that actually goes on a jury or anything, and there is a pro se, what they call pro se, right? I would strongly listen to the pro se because a lot of times the pro se may be calling out the corruption. Okay, so you're gonna have some non-educated pro se, so take that with a grain of salt. But in general, even if they don't know how and they're going pro se, it's because they think the whole system's corrupt as well, even attorneys. Okay, that's the reason why they went pro se and not really with a court-appointed attorney. Because something is wrong, people. Sit and think about it. Something is wrong. Especially when you have cops out there that's legal to lie. Okay, I read a document the other day of a prosecutor and explained to the grand jury, and in the document, he plainly lied to the grand jury for the grand jury to go ahead and proceed forward on another man. And it was not nowhere on that record. The guy said that he didn't do it, and called out a couple of things, but the prosecutor for the grand jury went exactly opposite of what was said to get the grand jury. Now, in the state of Texas, it went to the appeal courts, okay, the Fifth Circuit. And the Fifth Circuit says we cannot do nothing with the prosecutor of lying because he has immunity. So now, you guys, a prosecutor in the state of Texas or in the Fifth Circuit, it is legal for the prosecutor to lie to the grand jury. It's legal for the prosecutor to mislead the grand jury. So now you got cops that's legal to lie. You got prosecutors legal to lie. You got judges legal to lie. Everybody's legal to lie. Except you. And I think to clean up some of this muck that's going on in courts, I am led to believe that every jury, educational purposes only, don't mean I will do this or anything like that, so just cover my butt. Maybe juries actually should start doing jury notification and say, hey, we're sick and tired of you guys thinking that you got all these powers. Innocent, 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 regardless what the situation is. Good or bad. We got to get these judges saying we don't trust you anymore. Prosecutors, we don't trust you. Officers, we don't trust you. You guys are all lying against this man. Reason why we think this as the jury is because my mom and dad told me not to trust liars.
I think the most effective place we can change things right now is through the courts. And so him being kind of the general, putting himself out there, front line, and doing what he's doing and potentially having a lot of success, it's going to make huge waves and changes. That's one reason they're working so hard to shut him down.
Sure.
I think it already has. I think even if he's convicted now, even if the absolute worst case scenario that he was murdered by the city,
Yeah.
I think he will. The whole thing will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. There's no way for them to stop this now. And I wrote this to Lisa Mannion.
And I think they ought to stretch it a little further. I just, for hearing on the record, why I'm in lockup, I am not going to commit suicide. And maybe that's going to get me marked. Okay? But that way it's clearly established on the record in front of the jury and all that. So if anything was said in the future, it's out there.
I said, you need to do the right thing now, because we are going to put this in front of the people, and they're not going to act kindly once they see what's really going on. So one thing I was going to ask is, has anybody talked about the Patriot Act or domestic terrorism? Because to me, this is what this has this feeling of.
Yeah.
But like a covert, like almost like a hybrid, like a bridge. They're treating him like a domestic terrorist, where they don't have to do due process,
Right.
but they don't want the public to know that quite yet. So they're sort of pretending it's a trial.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, no, that is very possible and likely, considering that Brandon and I both we're suing a federal judge down here in Louisiana, and the U.S. Marshals put out a secret memo about us, requiring extra search when we come into the building, and for us to be followed around with an armed guard while we file papers in the courtroom. Now, that's not intimidation or, to redress your government for grievances. Yes, so they're absolutely going to use that and anything else at their disposal so should the people, we and the people, overcome this, it will be devastating to the criminals. To the criminals.
Yeah. I do think there are elements of that in this. Nothing has been declared openly. The marshals have. I complimented one marshal. I crossed paths with him on the crosswalk at lunch one day. He's been the marshal that's been with him the most, and I complimented him, saying, "Thank you for being so patient with Kurt, because he's given Kurt a ton of leeway with us talking and handing documents back and forth and that kind of thing." And
he knows.
Well, okay, I got to get back to the digital muzzling story, because this is a big one. There are two big stories to tell on this whole thing. One of them is this. So this was the marshal the judge was forcing. I could tell the judge was forcing this marshal to basically try to force Kurt to watch and listen to the computer, the WebEx on a laptop, and Kurt was reaching over and hitting the mute or hitting the camera, turning it off, and this happened repeatedly, like 3 or 4 times. And so the judge was starting to get upset about this. She's pretty soft-spoken, so she doesn't really get into the old show my emotions upset mode. But I could kind of tell, and so she was getting a little bit more forceful with the marshal, and eventually was kind of like, okay, turn this stuff off, stand away from him so he cannot touch the computer at all. And I guess there's some kind of little bit of jostle of trying to get it up. But then what shut the whole thing down, the digital muzzling down, is apparently the room they're in has a toilet. And so Kurt pulled down his pants and sat on the toilet.
It's funny you bring this up, because we have a recorded call of Kurt explaining this in his own words, and if I can go find that, I'll throw it in at the end of this video here.
I would love to hear him tell the story, because the judge even told us, And okay, I want using that bailiff as another part of this is the bailiff at that same point was also asked to be the messenger, what would you call him? Intercessory to the judge and Kurt, and so she would say, "Go tell Kurt a message," or "Go ask Kurt this," and then Kurt would give him a response, and he'd relay it back to the judge. But one of those, I don't remember what the exact was, but Kurt responded back with constitutional article section.
Chevy trucks with power you can count on. you just pay with PayPal? So much to learn, Chad. I want to pay with you everywhere.
The judge and Kurt, and so she would say, go tell Kurt a message, or go ask Kurt this, and then Kurt would give him a response, and he'd relay it back to the judge. But one of those, I don't remember what the exact was, but Kurt responded back with whichever constitutional article section, and you could tell this marshal really cared about being exact and not mincing, not mixing up any of the wording. Well, he reported back clearly exactly as Kurt had said, and the judge said blah, 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 to the record. So his revisionist perspective, Curtis called her out on this, her revisionist perspective of the record, she will say things, she will change what has happened and what has been said, put it in her own words. Like, for example, when she was saying he couldn't be a part of, I think this was the jury selection or whatever, he had chosen to waive his right. I talked to him today. He said he did not choose to waive his right. She chose to waive his right.
That is
and she puts it in the words that he chose.
Yeah. So she wants it on the record to cover her ass.
Yep.
And it's so infuriating. I just feel so it's really, really, really outrageous what they're doing, and it should not stand. It cannot stand.
Well, we got to pray for Kurt in this situation. Yeah.
Yeah. I have 2 recordings from Kurt today. So,
okay.
or no, 2 days ago. So I will try to throw them on there. So let's in order not to make this 3 hours long, let's try to wrap it up. What's the final word, Anastasia?
Can I tell the glasses charade?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So he's been battling also ADA about not having prescription glasses that he needs to read.
Right.
What is a really bad copy of the Discord, 470 some pages provided to him, and he showed this to me side by side, the actual exhibit and the court's copy and the copy used for the star witness. Pretty clear, still small, pretty clear. His is a garbled mess. So he keeps pushing his need for glasses, and they finally scrounged him up somewhere like 3rd floor, and he had asked for 1.0 prescription, and they have only provided him with 1.75, so he has said this is not going to work. So it's a battle back and forth about the glasses. Well, they get into a battle that morning of when the Discord messages are being presented to the star witness and with Kurt in the room at that point. And they get into the battle about the glasses, and eventually they give them to him, and they're kind of forcing him to use them. And he makes a big deal about exaggerating with the light and looking at the documents, and he does stand up and show the difference of the 2 documents and everything. Okay, it looks bad. He's clearly making a point about being able to read this stuff. Right. Well, then it was hilarious because the assistant city attorney has a probably 80-inch screen that she has her documents posted up on this 80-inch screen, and she's across the room from the jury, and they start this presentation of these things on this screen that she's going to be able to put through, and the jury says, I can't read that. Someone on the jury says, I can't read it. And then a couple of other people say they can't read it either. So they go through this charade, I call it the charade, of moving the jury to the center of the room. Now, they've already made a big deal about anything in proximity to Kurt because he is dangerous, right? So they're moving the jury to the center of the room. It's really stupid. So this is an accommodation they made for the jury. Well, they start getting it into it with the star witness, and she says, I can't read this. Can I get my glasses? So they had to have assistant city attorney look through her purse to get her glasses to have him deliver them on the witness stand. Kurt's like, if I were Kurt, I'd be like,
it's beautiful.
Yep.
Validating. Yep. So validating.
Yeah.
So
that was one of the biggest ones, one of the most fun, and he's like,
thank you,
Yep.
major point.
Yep.
So what I want to close with is two things. One is that Gert is my friend, and he is an incredible, gentle man. He's very respectful to women. He's mad at the mom of his son. It's true, and he has reasons to be. But he's been over my house. He's just a great guy. I really admire him, and this just makes me really sad what's happening to him. And the other thing that I heard from Dan, who was at the trial today, is that they found, finding this document that proves that he was never served with the restraining order.
That's right.
I mean, that's just, it got the entire
It was the USPS certified mail registration number that I looked up yesterday, and it says refused. They challenged him on what refused was today.
Okay.
And then it says traveling through network in transit to next location, next center. I'd have to pull it up exactly, but it's out there. Who knows where?
Yeah. So they just can't. They can't convict. They may, but they can't. It just.
Well, they shouldn't be able to. No.
Whoever's in the courtroom tomorrow, if Dan or you Jason, or whoever's in the courtroom, why don't y'all come out, during a break, and we'll do a live stream or something, and y'all can show us around the courthouse or the courthouse if you can, and then we'll see what's going on.
Just remember,
Dan was telling us earlier about this certified letter thing not being delivered, so it couldn't possibly be ineffective. They didn't notify. But anyway, before we get too long for everybody to listen to the Kurt in his own voice, which I want to put in the back end of this.
Okay.
If y'all have anything else important, let's talk about it. If not, let's do a live stream tomorrow. Y'all just message me and let me know when, and I'll queue it up, and we'll just do it live. See what happens.
See what we can do.
Hey, why not?
And show up if they're listening here. Can show up tomorrow morning, 9:00. It actually, I think they did switch rooms. It'll still be 10th floor, but look for. I couldn't tell which room it was going to be, 1002 or 1001 tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
And it could be later. It'll be there early, but it could be later start because there are morning battles that go on. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna try to clip that and put that in the front so everybody knows that that's urgent for tomorrow. If anybody watches only 5 minutes of it. So. All right, thank y'all for coming on and telling us about Kurt. I've been just sick about what's going on over there. It's just insane.
Us too.
It's absolutely insane. I'm reading all the telegram message of what's going on, and it's just like, what?
So shocking. Well, sir, thank you for doing this show, and I want to get this to the prosecuting attorney's office. So please send the link to this.
Yeah, I'm going to edit it right now, and I'm going to put it out tonight, so it'll be there tonight and first thing in the morning. So
wonderful. All right.
All right. Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you.
And let me know tomorrow about the live stream. We'll do it again.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
All right.
Ciao. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Consular. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, I heard that somebody testified today. That was fun.
Yeah, well, it's the only person I could call, really, so I figured, and plus, I was kind of curious, because I didn't think Katrina would want to cross-examine me, but there was only one way to find out for sure.
You were right. When I first heard that that's what happened, my instinct was like, oh my God, why, right? And then smarter brains, men obviously, said, hey, this is not necessarily bad. And I was like, yeah, well, he's a genius, so if anybody can pull it up, it's you. And then hearing that she did not cross-examine you, well, that tells you everything you need to know, right? So I think it was a good move. It was a good move. Yeah.
Well, and so just so you know, as of 2 a.m., I wasn't going to testify because I know as a general rule that attorneys don't like it and their clients do that, and I was trying to be respectful of potential situations I don't, so I was trying to be considerate. But then I was like running through yesterday's testimony in my mind, and Katrina, she played the video of the last time when Azrael ran away to my house, January 23rd of last year, and the cops were on the front door, or on my front porch, right? And I was just going through that, and I thought of this way that I could introduce all of this evidence of that, I have been giving evidence of crimes by Jade and Magali and the family attorney and their friends, like, because they opened up.
White privilege is a racist myth that is rooted in bigotry, trying to...
I never would have thought of it, but because Katrina played that video, and in the video, I hand one of the officers a packet of information. And at first, I couldn't even remember what I fucking gave Officer Hughes. And then at like 3 a.m., I was like, oh my God, I know what I gave him. And it was even better because he testified yesterday. He was like, I didn't know what that was. I didn't want to take it. And in the video, I literally say it's evidence. And then Outland, did a redirect on him, or whatever you call it, after I cross-examined him. And she was getting him to say that he had no reason to believe that I was giving him any evidence of crimes. And then I realized, most of that 100 fucking pages was my sworn affidavits fucking notarized, detailing, like David Meerland does, all their fucking crimes. So I was like, okay, I gotta testify because this is just too good,
Yeah. You're right. Hearing it this way, absolutely. Genius move.
And then watching, so I can tell a lot from how quickly Judge Chin and Katrina Outland try to object to stuff, and so, and I can see their faces, right? You guys can't see it because you don't have the video, but
no sound.
I could see, right? I mean, you get the reports later from people who've been in court, but I could see that as soon as I brought up the first criminal complaint, they were fucking nervous. They were like, "Oh shit, we didn't expect this." And then when I pulled out my son's affidavit, power of attorney, they were objecting to that and refusing my ability to even read a single word from it. Instantly, dude. Instantly, they were fucking shitting bricks, right? And Chin was just making stuff up of reasons why I couldn't, right? Because I watched how Outland introduces documents and has her witnesses read from it so that it's all part of the record, and I was just doing what they do, and Chin was like, "Oh no, move on," She would, if I would have proceeded